Miss Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses and Pub Crawl. We are having, we've moved on to another pub after, I think, 5 drinks. So, since we've been at 5 different pubs at least. So, we're really getting into where we got to remind ourselves to pace and be hydrated. And the next pub is meeting with Arwyn Avalon and making her Miss Martin Muses debut. Hello, Arwyn.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. I am so excited about being here.
So am
I mean, I'm here.
Oh,
I mean,
we're
I'm
so
always
excited.
here.
We're so excited.
I'm so excited about me. Look at me. But I'm excited you're here too.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here with you. Who's excited to be here with us? Yay!
Yay! And I was also so excited to realize that not only are we on a stream together, also all of our cats are surrounding us while we're streaming.
They are. It's like all of a sudden they kind of appeared out of the mist.
Yeah,
because they know we're getting ready to start streaming. It's like the sixth sense that they have.
Exactly. And like I said, sitting in front of the keyboard, and I was telling Arwyn off the air that I keep my nail clippers next to my computer, especially while I'm streaming. So if they get any ideas of crawling over the keyboard, well, they're gonna live to regret it. All I have to do is show them and make, okay, let's go and clip our nails, and boom, they just run for it.
Yeah,
wow.
Know.
So what? How things been going, Arwyn? What you been up to?
Oh, well, that's a loaded question.
That you can share on a stream.
I've been doing pretty good. Yesterday I was fighting with allergies because of, the weather shift. That was no fun. I was in bed very early for me. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I've just been trying to kind of, get my ducks in a row around here, trying to get my house in order, help my kids do what they need to do, take care of these cats. I mean, just, and maintain a streaming schedule.
Yeah.
So to some, it may not sound like a lot, but it's my life. So, yeah. I get kind of overwhelmed a little easy because I just, my attention's everywhere. Wants to be everywhere at once, and I want to do everything at once, but I can't. So.
Yeah, we need to get Hermione's time turner from Harry Potter.
Yes, we do. We do, because there's not enough hours in the day.
Mm-mm.
Do everything you want to do, but
nope, not at all. Well, I'll tell you what I did, because things have been happening around here. So I took a day off yesterday and had a spa day.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Yeah.
Do they have to pour you out of the car? When you're
something
done?
Like that.
I need
it was one of those. I got one of those hot stone massages with lavender, and there was a pool and a steam room.
That sounds amazing. I would love to do something like that at some point. Maybe I'll treat myself around Christmas. Who knows?
That's what you should give yourself a little Christmas present. And then, and then I went on one of those lounges they have. Cause it's one of those places where you just go around in a bathrobe. And I completely fell asleep.
I
bet. So I napped. It was great. It was like, I'm a professional napper, but it was nice to nap somewhere else for once.
Yeah.
Surrounded by all that, that soft new age music they have.
Yes. Sometimes when I can't sleep, I'll put some of that on.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff.
It just does the trick. I love it. So yes, spas are great, y'all. If y'all haven't had one, treat yourself.
Darn right.
Male or female, do it. It's great.
Yeah, get one of those things like what do you want for Christmas? I want a gift card to here. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Corey Cochran, hello. Hi, all. And Gravy D has joined us. Hello, Gravy D.
Hey,
good
y'all.
to see you. And look who's here. It's Arwyn.
Hey.
Surprise. Hey there. Great to see you, Arwyn, again in the chat. Double seeing you. We're all seeing double here because we're all batshit crazy. Okay.
Yes, we are.
I was going to say, I've just gone beyond the third wall or the fourth wall or whatever. My mom had the nerve to say to me the other day, why are you a basket case? And I was like, really? You really want me to? And I told her, I was like, you've been going through this with me too. And she's like, oh yeah, that's a good reason to be a basket case.
Yes, exactly. It's like, have you met me?
It's like, have you been listening to me?
Hello.
Yeah. Oh, gee whiz. Yeah. Well, we all know that you can see Arwyn, as she was saying, everywhere. She's like ADHD of live streams. And, lots of different topics that we have
Yes.
and that we go into. And of course, this one will never go away, which is the state of pop culture, because I think we all love
Yes.
pop culture. And some people are finally starting to figure out that if you don't pay attention to pop culture, you may as well not do anything else. Everyone's like, well, we'll just do like a community town hall. It's like, if you don't have pop culture, you don't have anything. And pop culture does affect young children. I mean, pop
Yes.
is raising our kids right now, and
Yes.
yeah, I think that we're starting to see the fruit of it. So, I didn't know if there was anything on your particular mind you wanted to rant and rave about, because that's what we do here.
Oh gosh, the state of the IPs. That's always a meaty subject. Just kind of where pop culture has evolved,
Mhm,
and I think it's the attitude towards pop culture that there is a certain mindset that is wanting to adopt another mindset and to give it to us, with both barrels. And I know why they're doing it, because if you can make somebody laugh about something, you can make about an issue, you can make somebody cry about an issue. You can pull on the heartstrings,
mhm.
and you can do that through pop culture, then it is setting the stage for other ideologies.
Darn
If you
right.
if you think about, comedians, a lot of old school comedians, what they say, yes, technically can be classified as offensive, but because of the way they deliver it, usually in a story, a lot of times a story you can understand or you can relate to, it's like, okay, we see what they're saying. They are not saying they believe these nasty things. They are using that to illustrate an example of something in our life. Pop culture does that.
Mhm.
And so, today, to see a lot of it that used to be entertainment made for the masses now is entertainment made for a particular schism. It's a little
Mhm.
disheartening, because it has taken on a whole new track than what it used to be. So,
Yeah, and they're very patient. I was warning people back in the '90s when I saw the
yeah.
shift, because you know how they would start to make buffoons of certain people of certain persuasions,
Yes.
sometimes called conservative nowadays, but turns out we're all conservative now. But you know what I
Right.
mean? They started making mockeries of them and making them the villains. And
Right.
it was very subtle, but they kept doing it. And if you take just one comedy or one drama, it's like, okay, that's just there. But it was every single person from a certain religion, from a certain
Mhm.
ideological view. And then they slowly started making the heroes all the people that wanted all these different things that they wanted to push, and
Right.
they were very patient. They waited and they waited, and they're now reaping the fruit, and everyone else is sitting there going, "What happened?" I said, "What happened was y'all didn't pay attention."
Right. Exactly right. It's become targeted now. When
Mhm,
before it was like anybody of, any culture, of any community, anything was kind of fair game. And some of, well, I'd say a lot of it was done very tongue in cheek, and there was no one group that was excluded. It was like everybody
mhm.
was fair game, and we all chuckled at it because we all were laughing at ourselves,
Yeah.
because we were all there. We were all, now it's very targeted pro and very targeted against whoever they're highlighting.
Yes, precisely.
There's,
And
and it can be kind of mean spirited at times. And it's like, well, that's not the whole point of where y'all started, but okay, whatever. It's where you are.
mhm. And when you look at, well, who was born around the '90s and all that, they're now in their 20s, and everyone's like, "Why is everyone so angry and
Yeah.
batshit crazy?" It's like, well, these again, that's the fruit of
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
and I think that we we really saw it when they started with the IPs, like you were saying, the they started taking the icons, like
Hmm.
they were leaving people, and like for example, Lord of the Rings. All those, Harry Potter was our hero,
Yeah.
all of that, but then around starting with Star Wars, more specifically in Ghostbusters, that's when they started replacing and or making buffoons of the, you know,
Hmm.
American icons.
Yeah, yeah. If there were any legacy characters that were seen in a positive light, well, that had to be flipped
Mm-hmm.
because the new ones had to be better, stronger, bolder, no more. And just looking at it, it's like, wait a minute. When you look at some of these characters that you're saying, oh well, y'all don't know anything. You're talking characters that have been around from the foundation of an IP. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Star Wars. Let's take Star Wars for example. Luke, Han, and Leia, foundational characters. Without those three, there would be no story.
No.
You could throw Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's another one in there. Darth Vader. These are foundational characters. These are not idiots. These are not, oh, well, they grow old and they lose all their value. No, these are characters that you have to respect.
Yeah.
And then replaced with the new ones that are like, well, y'all don't know anything. We are the better. We are more stronger. We are more braver. It puts just such a distasteful, disrespectful vibe on it all.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be that way. And that's why people get frustrated. But that is the trajectory pop culture has taken now.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things about Rocky, I was thinking Rocky is also another character, though they've pretty much left him alone, I think, because Sylvester Stallone has kept a hold of him. But
Yes.
what also the values that like Luke Skywalker represents is that anyone can achieve whatever they want to do if they're brave enough, they're strong enough, that patriotism, freedom loving. So they had to show, well, what an idiot. Look how he ended up at the end of his life. None of that mattered. And he was, it was just stupid.
Yeah. It's no longer about the higher ideals that anyone can get behind. It's about the individual and the ideal that they want.
Mm-hmm. And
that's
again,
what it's become.
And they got to tear it down. Why, hello there. Speaking of tearing down, no, he's not tearing us down. He is lifting us up. Hello, Teresa and Arwyn, says Steve Kenobi. Hope you're well. A low spec Linux laptop, I believe. He's giving us a penguin, I think.
Yes, I call him Linux because the Linux just looks like, I always thought it was Linux. I thought it was French. I don't know. That's what we call it. But I think it's Linux.
Yeah. I think it would
be. He tolerates it.
I think it would EU. Steve says, yeah, yep, you're right, Steve. First step of a communist takeover, you destroy the country's traditions and icons. Nowadays, pop culture characters are the icons. Yeah, because they've already kind of done that with religion, with the saints or, heroes, American hero, especially in America, like George Washington, all of them. And now, now they're doing our fictional icons.
You control pop culture, you control people's attitudes towards society.
Darn right. Yeah. And I think the Luke Skywalker, out of all of them, that was a moment that woke us up, because I think we were all kind of seeing it creeping in. And even Han Solo, we were like, damn, that just really sucks what they did with Han Solo. I remember doing that. But it was when they did that with Luke, where Rian Johnson, because he's an idiot, he didn't even try to make it subtle. It was just over your head. Look at this idiot. He's a slob. He's a moron. He's just this horrible thing. And so then it was like, okay, no more benefit of the doubt. This is on purpose.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, because look at Kenobi. And I know Luke's story doesn't have to echo Kenobi's. Yes, they thought he was a hermit. Yes, they, a crazy old man, blah, blah, blah. He was none of those things. He was, he was purposely keeping his distance, keeping a watch over Luke. But what did they have to do to Luke? They had to turn him into a creep. They had to turn him into someone who it was like so dislikable that no matter what his story was before, do you really want to root for this guy? And that is just first level wrong.
Yeah.
When you have a fan base that's so excited about this coming out, oh my gosh, more Star Wars, and then you treat them like that, makes no sense.
Yeah, that's actually a good point that you make. Yeah, that the crazy old creepy weirdo man was the facade, and then they flipped it and it's like he was actually a hero. And what they're trying to tell us is that Luke the hero was the facade and he was really a creepy old man. So it's the regression.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's happening worldwide, says D. Kenobi. Fairy tales and mythology being true. Darn right, we're seeing with Snow White.
Sorry.
Snow White.
Yeah, we are.
A movie called Snow White. Did you know Snow White sucks?
Oh my gosh. I just the whole thing with about now it's not about true love because it's not 1937 anymore, and it's all about I want to be the best queen that I could be, a best leader. I was just vomiting
Yeah.
hearing all that. I'm like, then y'all totally missed the point of what Snow White was about in the first place.
Yeah. And any idiot knows that a lot of what is in the fairy tales are symbolic. Like marriage doesn't necessarily mean marriage. That love doesn't mean love. A thorn is not a thorn. They
Mm-hmm.
were using symbols to teach kids about things.
Yes.
And so it's just like, girl, you just not only don't get it. And then they wonder also why girls are jumping off cliffs or whatever, because it's like,
Yeah.
hey, despair, ladies. Everything that you think is beautiful and good, you're actually a horrible, horrible person and you're betraying women.
Right. Right. And they totally missed the part because I don't know how, with her being such a feminist Snow White, how it's going to fly her relationship with the dwarves and the whole purpose of their meeting. The dwarves lived like quote unquote bachelors. They were
Hmm.
slovenly. They didn't care about anything. They just mined their gems. That's all that they did. It was their encounter with her that gave them, because she taught them, how to clean. She taught them how to cook, take care of themselves. She taught them how to live as decent dwarves,
Yeah.
productive, decent dwarves. And they took through her, they found a sense of pride in who they were, the good kind of pride, not the destructive kind, and they realized this interaction with this human girl, which before it was like, ooh, then it was like, no, they had a mutual respect for each other. There was a relationship building that could correlate to so many things in our lives, especially as kids. The
Hmm.
importance of cleanliness, the importance of kindness, the importance of, looking out for each other, taking care of each other. These, in that film, in the Disney film, these were valuable things that were being taught. Well, how can you do that today if it's like, well, housekeeping, that's not just a woman's job. I'm not going to do that. Ew, cooking. Blah.
Yeah.
You're just clouding the message, and you're clouding these beautiful things that can be mined from this story if you take it as it's presented, as Disney made it. But we
Yeah.
can't have that today because that's too old fashioned. It's dated. Times have changed.
Yeah.
No, they really haven't. Everyone since the beginning of time has wished for true love. Why does that make a woman any less empowered if she wishes true love in her life?
Precisely. And like I said, there's lots of symbolism in what true love and marriage means, that, true love can take many different forms. And that's also what was always the belief and the symbols behind it,
Mm-hmm.
and devotion to your father, and the fact that the reason why the wicked stepsisters are so wicked is because that's not what a sister's supposed to do. A wicked
Right.
stepmother is not supposed to be like this. You're supposed to all, love each other, look
Exactly.
after each other. Yeah.
Exactly. And for her to call the prince a stalker just floored
uh
me. I'm
well,
like, the whole thing of true love, you are just spitting on, and you're calling the prince, who without the prince, Snow White would be dead, y'all. So
yeah.
he's kind of important.
Yeah.
Just a
Well,
bit.
and the whole theme of the need for a man to lay down his life for his beloved, and
Yes.
she's spitting on it. It's like,
Beautiful imagery.
dudes, because it was also supposed to inspire men to treat women well. Um,
Yes.
I'll bet you in this new version they get rid of the huntsman, because he was the man with the conscience that wouldn't harm her, that let her go.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, or she's gonna get one over on him and get the axe away from him and injure him, and then they both run off. She's gonna save herself. That's
yeah,
my theory. She's gonna save herself, and everyone's gonna go, "Ooh, look how stunning and brave." And the rest of us are gonna kind of be like, "Why even try? Why even make Snow White if you're gonna redo it to where it no longer resembles the thing you're trying to make?" It makes no sense to me.
no, and you made a good point also. There's a reason why these are timeless, not just timeless from 1937, but these things are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old. Generation
Yeah.
after generation has loved these tales, and there's a very, very good reason for it. And of course, Steve has to give us a little. You say the way they're treating the dwarves is short-sighted.
That's exactly right, Steve.
Yeah. Chris PRSA, what dwarves? They've taken one token little person, this vision, and renamed them the Seven Bandits. Yeah, I think I don't know if that's official. It might be, because I haven't been
Oh
following it.
no, I haven't heard this.
But
Legit?
I have heard. Well, because if you've seen, that behind the scenes picture thing that was floating where they had the stand-ins for him. There was only one little person. And I
Yeah,
think there were
saw
even
that.
some women in there.
Yes.
And the whole idea is that they're rebels. That they're that's what's noble, and that's the wicked stepmother is jealous of Snow White because she's such a leader.
So are they no longer minors?
Oh, probably not. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. Don't you know that's not a
Because,
dignified work.
now they're
That's
not
gonna
even
just
minors.
I don't know, but you know how it is. They're gonna destroy the planet. Climate change.
Okay, so they not only have they replaced the dwarves, now they're bandits. Now they don't even have a way to support themselves.
Okay, now this is all a rumor. I'm just speculating. Okay,
Probably not wrong, but all right.
If well, all of these will probably turn out to be right. Yes, hello, Jariah.
Hi.
And we got a dirty joke from Stieg. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what the fairy tale is all about. And yeah, Stieg had made a point that yes, it was Dave Filoni who was the architect of a lot of that stuff about Luke and what we're seeing today.
Ugh.
Boo. And
Vomit.
weird, says Gravy D. Thank you, Stieg, for being subtle, and I'm not being sarcastic. She is not even pale, so Snow White name doesn't even make sense. Yeah, well, and here's another thing about that little brat, and I will call her a little brat because what she said was not only disrespectful to all the fans, to all those that have loved the fairy tales and all that. She was crapping on her co-star because remember she also
Yes.
said, oh, they could just cut out all his scenes and it doesn't matter. And I was just like, first of all, how awful for your co-star. You're supposed to be supportive of it. And she's basically saying, yeah, I want him to lose work, which is.
Yeah, you can just cut all his scenes. Who cares? We'll just have it be Snow White and the Evil Queen.
Yeah, which, as an actor doing that to a fellow actor is. It's just beyond. And I hope she gets punished for it. She should. She shouldn't get another job because who wants to work with someone that thinks it'd be okay if you get cut? Pride's coming before a fall, little brat.
Right. And oh god, the 7 magical creatures. Okay, that is shades of Maleficent. When they turned the 3 fairies into the 3 pixies.
Oh,
right there. I was like, I'm out. 3 pixies my butt. And now the little magical creatures?
The 7 magical creatures.
Why? Just hire 7 dwarves and let them play this. Mirror did it. Mirror did it with Julia Roberts and Phil Collins' daughter. I can't remember. Was it Lily Collins? Yeah, Lily Collins, who played the Snow White character. They had literal 7 dwarves, some actual little people, actors, who had a full job in a really good rendition of Snow White. Yeah. And now, it's 2023 and we're supposed to be, the most progressive century or the most aggressive. Yeah, I can't even talk. Progressive year. And yeah, the 21st century. And we can't hire actual little people because that's insulting. To who?
Yeah.
The little person? Who?
Yeah. Well, you can all thank Peter Dinklage for that too, opening his big stupid mouth.
Yeah, I was like, okay, Peter, I loved you in Narnia. I loved you in Game of Thrones. I loved you in Penelope. I love that movie. It is so cute. Mm-hmm. I loved you. And he actually had the rare privilege of getting, I think some of his roles, yes, he was hired because of his stature. But like in Penelope, yes, it had to be someone who was small enough to fit in a cabinet, but they never go into him being a little person. It's just, that's the character. You don't care. It's not like a specific, he has to be this. So he gets all of these incredible roles. He makes all of this money. He could have been probably one of the biggest advocates for little people who are trying to get acting jobs in Hollywood. But instead, he craps on them all by saying, no, it's insulting and blah, 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 blah. Thank you, Peter Dinklage. I'm sure all the little people, actors who don't have a job now because you ran your mouth, appreciate it.
Yeah, and as many had said, not just the actors, but then the stunt doubles and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
great point.
Yeah.
Great point.
And of course, he has the nerve to say that after he played the role he played in Narnia.
Yes.
I mean, what the hell does he call that? He's
a dwarf.
and a silly dwarf and a funny dwarf, all of that. It's like, yeah, how do you think you got started, asshole?
Yeah.
Pardon my
Look at
French.
Billy Barty. Look at Billy Barty.
Mhm,
Probably before his death, and really, actually, I think even past his death, he is probably one of the most, if not the most famous little person actor. I put him up there. I put Warwick Davis. I would put Peter Dinklage. I
mhm,
mean, these are household names that most people know about. If
mhm.
y'all have seen Legend, you know Billy Barty.
Yeah,
He's been in everything. He was a wonderful actor. And people loved him for him. Yes, his size worked for a role, but they loved him for him. Where's the disrespect?
yep,
Where is the hatred, and where is the discrimination, and where is the it's not on our end, it's on Peter Dinklage's end,
yeah,
which blows. Yeah, Billy Barty was all kinds of awesome, y'all.
yeah, and of course, once he's already gotten all the roles that made him who he is and making all this money, and I was very happy when his Cyrano de Bergerac movie flopped. It's like, yeah, screw
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Oh, yes. Well, Steek says the obvious. The baby is this color. We will name her Snow White. Yeah.
I
I
guess
guess
they didn't read the original fairy tale either.
they're
Skin is
probably
white
going
as
to say that
snow.
it was white because of her soul or something, but maybe that's
Oh, God.
Mace's too. Yeah, Snow White is
Probably.
the bad guy in this movie. Well, yeah, so far she is. Chris PRSA, hello. Most likely the seven will be stealing from the wealthy to give to the poor. Yeah, they're going to make it all Robin Hood and
Ugh.
partially finance Snow White come back to reclaim the power she was born to have. Darn
Yes,
right.
yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Zeke says
Yeah,
they keep touting that only gay people can play gay characters, yet short people aren't allowed to play short people. Start thunder on logic. Yes, absolutely. And
makes no
well,
sense.
they keep touting that people have to be cast according to their race orientation and all that. Yet then they race swap.
Yeah, or
There's no
they
logic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or for no reason they gender swap. It's like, well, if the
Mhm.
character is good enough to stand on their own, why do you have to gender swap them? Why do we have to have a female dwarf or
Yeah.
a magical creature or a bandit or whatever the heck they're going to call them? Why do we have to do that?
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
don't I don't understand it.
Oh, Lucy's God says what? Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. That's what we were saying. It's not just the actors. Hmm.
Yes. Great
Uh,
point.
Oh, it is Zakrot. He's saying hello to us
Hey.
all. Yeah, Masters of the Universe, too, and yeah, he was also in Willow. Yeah, he was a yeah.
Yes, yes, he was. Oh, yes, he was. He was
Mhm.
the I think their mage or
Yeah.
sage or whatever they called him, their wizard. Yes. He was his mentor.
Mm.
I love it when he rolls the bones and they're like, what do the bones mean? He's like, I have no idea. And then he just makes something up because he's like, I have no clue what the bones say. I love the original Willow.
Yeah, and oh gosh, Sheldon, you guys are really extra spicy tonight. I like it. Yeah.
Yep,
1 out of
Shelton.
7, apparently dwarf lives don't matter. Oh, well, true. It's funny because it's true.
Yeah,
Uh,
it just
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that's it. That's it. The High Aldwin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he was in Willow and he rolled those bones. I had
Yeah.
always said if they wanted to do something different with Snow White, take the Wicked approach. You know how Wicked is based off of the evil witch's point of view, or the Wicked Witch of the
Mhm.
West point of view. Okay, fine. If you want to do that, have it from the evil queen's point of view. You could still have Snow White being pure and good. You could still have the dwarves be dwarves. You could still have the prince be the prince. You could still have her cast the spell, with the poison apple and her die and true love restores. You could do all that, but you could just do it from her point of view, and you could see the descent of her madness
Uh-huh.
from her pride and wanting to be the most fairest, her thinking physical, when the mirror is talking not only physical for Snow White as the fairest, but also her pure and kind heart and her
It's
goodness. Do it that way.
yeah,
I'd be down for that.
both and not either or. Uh,
Yes. Yeah.
dummy. Yeah.
But nope.
Nope.
No,
G
we have to have stunning and brave Snow White.
Yeah. Well, you know what would be really hilarious is if that really wasn't the plan or the way the direction they were going, and the actress just spouted her mouth off and was trying to put her own ideas into it, and that wasn't even what they were planning on doing.
It could be, and let me tell you, I have my BA in theater and a minor in music, so I fully planned. My plan was to go out to Hollywood and be an actress. That I was set
Oh
on that
boy.
course. And I was kind of started out that way. And fortunately, I changed my mind. I was like, nope, I'm getting married. I'd rather, get married, have a family, stay here. I don't want to do that. But I had always said to myself, if I ever do make it and I'm on one of those promotional tours, the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to talk up the movie. I'm going to stick with the movie facts. I'm going to talk up the movie because that's my job. I'm going to promote the movie in the best possible light and keep my own crap out of it. You do not see actors doing that anymore. It's all about them, their ideology, what they think the movie is, what they think the movie should be. And it is killing studios. They run their mouths. They run their mouths.
Conversely, though,
yeah,
if you look at the ones that actually don't do that, they're the ones that are the superstars. Tom Cruise, Sylvester Stallone, even who is it? Well, Robert Carlyle doesn't that. He specifically was saying that he says actors shouldn't be in politics. He doesn't do that. You have the guy who played Ben Stone in Manifest. He was also Prince Charming in Once Upon a Time. Speaking of which, if you've not seen the TV show Once Upon a Time, they do it very well. They do Snow White very well in that.
I've seen up to Elsa. I saw up to Elsa. I need to pick it back up. But yes, I do enjoy the dynamic between Snow White, Prince Charming, and particularly the Evil Queen. Mm-hmm. Love the Evil Queen.
Yeah, Regina.
Oh, Regina, she's so good. Yeah. I love her.
Yeah, and Lana Priya, all of them are really good. I should say, if you stopped at the Elsa, that's a good place to stop because the general thinking is seasons 1 to 3 are almost perfect, and then it started to go downhill. Season 4 because they started to get I happen to know this. They started to get some studio interference and trying to make it like the Disney villain of the week because Disney started using them as guinea pigs for doing live action versions.
Okay. But yeah, I enjoyed what I saw. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, 1 through 3 is great. And I mean, and you can enjoy parts of seasons 4, 5, and 6 and 7, but just watch it and you'll see what I mean. You can see where it's deviating, but yeah, good stuff. I'm having some serious catterference here, but she's walking away. Steve, I am not going to say it. I'm sorry. That's a little much even for me. Yeah, but Luffy is always good to see, and it's great to see you, Shell, back again. Long time no see. And as Luffy as God says, Snow White, her father wanted Snow White to be a leader. Then again, he married the evil queen, so he isn't the best judge of character. Mm-hmm. Promote the movie, says Chris BRC, but everything now is a platform for their opinions. Okay, Jorah's got a long one here. So traditional storytelling starts with characters first, then the struggle they face, and the world is built up around them. Modern story goes, they start with the world. Oh, he's got more to say. They start with the world they want, then determine the struggle, fill a quota for the character, and forces worldview. You mean like our worldview? Yeah. They don't have world building. They don't do things that are within their world. And that's what I always say, that you can have progressive. I hate that word because I think that it's become something not progressive. But there is a lot of fantasy. There's a lot of TV shows that had some of that left-leaning messaging that was still quality entertainment, so we still watched it because they didn't allow that to skew the world building and the storytelling.
Oh, well, the whole Xena Gabrielle, will they, won't they, did they, didn't they? I mean, the whole, they never came out. I mean, they did later after the show, but during the show, and it was only towards the last couple of seasons that they started to kind of, I don't want to say push it, but it became obvious. There was this big question where, was Xena and Gabrielle, were they lesbians? Were they married? Were they? And by the end of the show, you just didn't care because it was like, okay, here's the end of the show. And I love that show. I love Xena Warrior Princess, but you can tell when that kind of started getting into our pop culture. You can kind of track it, by different shows from season 1 to, I think it was season 7. I think there were 7 seasons. You could see where that started to be inserted, and it was self-inserts from, the people that were doing it, but they still kept it. It wasn't the main storyline. It just cropped up every now and then, as a nod and a wink. But it was not, the characters were still pretty much the same, because at the end of the day, no one really cared.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little inconsistent, but I'm like, okay, whatever. Who cares? I love those characters. I don't care. But they kept it removed enough to where it didn't involve with the flow of the story. It didn't involve with the character arcs. You could just enjoy it. Again, if you wanted to think it was there, you could. If you didn't want to think it was there, you could. It did not matter.
Yeah.
It did not play a part. Nowadays, representation. This character's got to be this and this character's got to be that. And we have to have 5 like this. And it's insane. You can't just allow characters to be characters and have interactions anymore without trying to subject it to something. It's too obvious now. It's too pointed.
Precisely. Now. And I think another good example of a show that did that well was Star Trek. Well, even the original Star Trek First Time, that was incredibly.
Yes.
Yeah. But Next Generation, all of those, you could tell from where they were all coming, but everybody watched it from all political persuasions because it was thoughtful and it wasn't the main focus, and you know what I mean?
Right,
it was there.
Right.
You knew exactly, because if you ever looked at the actors, like even like they would go on Oprah or some other shows, but that was a good example of something that you could really say was left leaning, but it didn't matter because they still kept to the story thing. And then people try to gaslight us and say, well, you don't really care, blah, blah, you just don't like this. It's like, no, then only people in San Francisco would have been watching Star Trek if that were the case.
Right. Well, okay. Look at that Next Gen episode where Riker falls in love with Soren, and she's of an androgynous race where they're all androgynous, but then some identify as female and some identify as male, and they want to take opposite, someone of the opposite sex as their partner.
Yeah.
And the struggle that they had to go through, and she wanted to be with him, he wanted to be with her. And then at the end, they ended up, correcting her mind to where, no, she wanted to be only in a same sex. I think they were all identified as female, but anyway, it was something.
Yeah.
You know what that was about. That was about being gay and letting people be gay, letting people be straight. Exactly. But they did it in a brilliant way. It was a one-time episode. It made you think. It didn't necessarily preach at you. It just presented you the information and the situation through these characters' eyes, and then you made your own conclusions. That's brilliant.
Precisely. And The Measure of a Man is also another good example of that.
Yes.
I always say that's where they accidentally stumbled into a pro-life message, frankly, because it was like, what's life? What is this?
Exactly. And it was done so well. Again, you drew your own conclusions.
Yeah, precisely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because they used to believe in the intelligence of their audience. They used to trust in the intelligence of their audience. They would give this wonderful story, and they used to trust you, and that you had the brain power to figure stuff out for yourself. Now you're told what to think. It's a whole different animal.
Luffy's God just basically said the same thing, and this is well worded. Showed both sides of a story. The writers lean left, but put story first. Yes, and as you said, it trusted us. Now they have the subtlety of the stereotypical evil white man preacher.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The way they usually show them, it's like, that's what you all are becoming. You all are becoming what you hated. You're the most fundamentalist. If you want to tell me who the most fundamentalist, most judgmental, most intolerant people are, it's not the people so-called from the right, if you know what I mean. I mean, they've even got shunning and ostracized. I mean, dagnabbit, let's just go back to Massachusetts 1610 for crying out loud.
Do you remember the days of one of the big arguments? I mean, where people would throw down, they would yell and scream and debate, but then at the end be friends and go and watch more Star Trek. Was the whole Kirk or Picard debate?
Darn right. I remember
was the better
that.
Captain, Kirk or Picard? Now we all know it's Cisco, but that he wasn't around at that time. Shots fired. But yes, it was between Kirk or Picard, and people were passionate about their captain. And their captain was the best, dang it, no matter what you said, and here's why. And they knew all the reasons why, and they knew all the... But they would come out of that most of them, shaking hands, saying, let's go watch some more Star Trek. It was lively, and it was fun because you were a Star Trek fan, whether you preferred Kirk or you preferred Picard, or like me, Benjamin Sisko. We're all Star Trek fans. We all love this franchise until then they pooched it until they were like, well, we don't care that y'all are fans. We're going to do our own thing, and you're either going to have to suck it up and like it or don't watch.
Yeah.
That's the studio's attitude.
And that's why 1,001 Reasons Why Voyager, not Voyager. I liked Voyager. I'm sorry, Star Trek STD. You know, the
Yes,
STD.
the STDs.
Yeah,
Yes.
and the first 2 seasons of Picard. I didn't watch
Trek.
the third though
Ugh.
because I was like, it's too late. It's already been soured. But that's
I
why
appreciate that.
that's why everyone was cringing. It was, we were like, this is not right. This is not Star Trek, because Star Trek was never like that.
No.
Yeah.
Star Trek is not Buffy the Vampire Slayer where you can insert a musical number and have it work effectively.
Ugh.
It's just not. No, I agree. Hey,
I love Babylon 5.
DS9 though is my favorite Star Trek. I will
Yeah.
say that, but Babylon 5 is my very, 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 very top favorite sci-fi show ever.
Yeah.
So I'm with you, but but of all the Star Trek, DS9 is my favorite.
Yeah, Shellback TJC says DS9 had the Bajorans, who were deeply religious, and one of my favorite characters wore for the traditional male bleeding marriage. Yeah. And even though like Cisco and all them obviously didn't believe what the Bajorans believed, they showed them respect toward their belief. They never mocked them for their beliefs.
Right, exactly. And that's, I mean, and Star Trek fans used to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have, and the thing with season 3 of Picard is, yes, it was so much better than 1 and 2. I do understand for some people, they're like, nope, a little too late. That's fine. I totally respect that. I hated season 1 and 2, but I figured, what the heck, Loki was doing it on a Friday morning, and we were going to review it. I said, this is going to be fun. I'll take one for the team if it sucks. It should have been that should have been the one and only season 3. Mm-hmm. He should not have been no robot. Let him be Picard. Let him be who he is. And in one last adventure for them coming together. That's what they should have done. 1 and 2 should have never existed.
Yep.
But they pooched it, and they did 1 and 2, and then it soured 3 for so many fans, and I don't blame them.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. That's just a really good point, and that's what they should have done. That's all we wanted from Star Wars. Han, Luke, and Leia. The Force Awakens could have been Han, Luke, and Leia, and Lando, and then, slowly bring in your new characters, because that's all we really wanted from,
That's right. We wanted the original trio. We wanted that trinity of Star Wars, but they did not give us that. And what they gave us of those characters was very unsatisfactory. When there's 100 different EU stories they could have chosen from, they went with that. Force is female. Bleh, get out of here.
Yeah, well, that was also, yeah, they could do it better than everybody else. They could do better with George Lucas, because I know there's a debate about this, but it's pretty certain that George Lucas definitely ratified certain decisions, and he did consult with some of the authors. And I think he had a little bit of the George Lucas, okay, fine, that's great. But they actually did meet with George Lucas, the writers, to talk with him. They would say that in their introductions, and Lucas used a lot of EU material in the prequel trilogy. So he was like, hey, that's good. There was a lot of respect. So just because he didn't write it, just because he kind of it's not even outsourcing. He was just like, that's cool. He did ratify the stuff. And you can see the quality there.
He had their blessing, or they had his blessing.
His blessing. Exactly. And that there were certain things like Luke Skywalker getting married, for a fact that he did have to approve that. That he was going to marry. Yeah.
He didn't. You're right. And you're right. He doesn't have to sit down and write everything for it to be Lucas approved.
Exactly. And that's a fact.
And if he's approving it, go with that. But
yeah, well, exactly. And some people try to disingenuously take some things out of context, where Lucas is like, well, I didn't really do it and stuff. It's like, no, but then you see the other stuff. But I think that, frankly, the hubris was that they thought they could do better than George Lucas. And old white man, we're gonna end just like what they did with Rings of Power, and apparently what they're doing with the Wheel of Time. God. They misunderstood. They looked at like Lord of the Rings, and they looked at the prequel trilogy with George Lucas, and they thought, oh, you just have to slap the name Star Wars. You just have to slap the name Lord of the
Right.
Rings. You just have to slap the name Wheel of Time, and people are going to watch it. Look at all the nerds that went to watch Lord of the Rings. So that's what we're going to do, Rings of Power. And it's like, no, that's not the case. It wasn't the name. It wasn't the brand. It wasn't the characters. Well, first of all, they don't
Right.
give us the characters. It was amazing quality. It wasn't, and I think that they totally misunderstood it because a lot of people don't think that fantasy is serious literature.
No, they don't. And actually, I mean, fantasy, you talk about something to get your mind thinking. You talk about ideas that you can present in fantasy that maybe you can't even present somewhere else, because you can
Mhm,
take fantasy farther than you can just, a general fiction book. You
mhm,
can go there. You can really go there. And I mean, that is the one thing. I love science fiction, but
mhm,
fantasy was with me as a kid. When I found The Hobbit, I was like, what is this? I mean, it changed my worldview
mhm.
on
Oh,
life. And
yeah.
I'm like, wow. I mean, my brain exploded and my mind was just open to all kind of, once again, the greater ideas, things above you, beyond yourself, things of goodness, things of brotherhood or sisterhood, all of these things that you can find in fantasy, that in a lot of places you can find them. But for people like me who just jam on fantasy, it has more of a profound effect.
Mhm. Well, and, like, look at what Star Wars, taught us in Return of the Jedi. I was about 9, I think, maybe 8 when Return of the Jedi came out. It taught me about mercy. I mean, that blew my mind that Luke could show mercy toward Darth Vader
Yeah.
and his
Yeah.
father and say, "I wanna save you," and that the love for the son and that he was able to reach Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker's conscience,
Yes.
and he realized Darth Vader, of all people, Darth Vader's conscience could be reached, and he could say, "This is wrong. I'm not gonna allow him to kill my son." I mean,
Yeah.
that just blew me away, and that affects you. That affects you as you're getting older, and it's like, well, how should I look at the people that don't like me or something, or even people that do bad things to me? It doesn't mean you have to
Right.
hang out with them, but it means that you do have to show mercy and that respect that, someone in there, you might reach their just all sorts of good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I totally agree.
yeah.
Totally agree.
And fantasy, well, Robert Jordan would say, like, why he'd like to use fantasy. He says because it's one of the few genres where you can really show good and evil. I
Yes.
mean, there are some things, despite what I just said about Darth Vader, there are some things that are just pure evil. There are Mittlers out there that just have to
Yes.
be put down.
I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, I couldn't put it down myself, says Jiraiya. Yeah, and Tom Shippey writes a lot about that, about Tolkien.
Mhm.
Shameless plug, I have a video about that. Evening all, Deej Odyssey,
Hey,
hello.
Teach.
Jiraiya says, "Best payoff possible in history is Anakin turning back." Yep, darn right.
It
Mhm,
is. It really is. It is a powerful it is not just, I mean, Star Wars is really about two things.
mhm,
It's about the coming of age of Luke Skywalker and the redemption of Anakin Skywalker. That's really, in a nutshell, what that entire saga ties together through all the events that they go through. And then, of course, the rebels getting out of the empire and blah blah blah. But
mhm,
to me, those are side stories. At the heart, it is about those two men. And
mhm,
how, you really, like, if Luke never went on his adventure, if Luke just stayed on Tatooine, nothing ever happened with his aunt and uncle, and he was just there, then Anakin would have never been redeemed.
mhm.
So they were tied to each other.
Yeah, speaking of showing the power of true love, remember I was saying that those true love kisses and all them, it's not just about men and women and marriage. It's like
Hmm.
the love of a father for a son and a son for the father, and how that can move mountains.
Yes. Yeah, it really can. And it blew us away because with those original three Star Wars, it presented science fiction on a global scale, but it also presented bits of humanity on a global scale because of the stories and what the characters go through and how they relate to each other and how they have to work with each other and yada yada. I mean, it really is a space opera in the best sense of the word,
Mhm, damn
because
right.
it takes us on a journey.
And it changed everything. It really changed fantasy, sometimes people erroneously call it sci-fi, and I understand why people do, but yeah, it's fantasy. Star Wars is, and it shaped it going forward because it, for lack of a better word, it showed Hollywood you can make a crap ton of money off of this,
Mm-hmm.
and money
Yeah.
talks for them. Yeah. Shellback says Luke understood that those younglings were. Oh no! I thought you were going to say something profound.
Oh my God. That to me is his first decidedly evil act. There is no turning back from what he did with those younglings. Because no one was there to pull him back at that point, and he just went off. And after that, I'm like, oh yeah, he's Vader.
Yeah.
Because there's no turning back.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's something that's even still being debated today. And there were some characters in the EU. It was the same way. Is how bad is too bad?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if Vader had lived, that's one of those things I always think about, and he probably would have gotten the death penalty, and rightly so. Yeah,
Oh yeah, they would have had to have dealt with him in some way. They could not have let all that crime go even though he was redeemed. There still would
Doesn't
have
matter.
been punishment. There,
Yeah. And so that's why it was a good thing that they had him die, because then that would
I
have been that
agree.
messy. We would have had like the Nuremberg trials, and he would have had to have paid, because while your soul might be redeemed, I always say Jesus can forgive.
Right,
but,
right. But there still are consequences for your acts.
Yeah, you just can't be a mass murderer. And and there were some moments in the EU which I felt like they went off the rails, because they lost sight of that with some characters. It's like, no, just because Darth Vader was redeemed, that didn't mean that you don't have jail for the rest of your life.
Exactly, because he did some bad, messed up things.
Yeah. Luffy is God says, I'm so glad they haven't touched Mara Jade or Cade Skywalker or Darth Revan. Don't jinx it. Don't jinx
I
it.
agree. I agree. Isn't that sad though, that we're to the point where we don't want them touching legacy characters of any IP? It's like, leave them alone. They're fine.
Can you imagine what they would do to Mara Jade?
Oh God. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That was also a great character, because it was a different side of that coin of hating someone so much. And with the Kido, the clone, that was a great device for showing that she killed the hatred that she had for Luke Skywalker, and realized then she had to move on. And she even was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And Luke's like, oh, you'll find out, or something at the end of the trilogy. I know I'm paraphrasing. And that was also a great character. And that's why we love Mara Jade.
Oh, well, she's a redhead, so we know she'd be replaced.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, what they would do with Mara Jade, if they were ever to have Mara Jade and Luke together, she'd be like Amber Heard. She'd just be awful, abusing him all the time. And
yeah,
you're such
horrible.
a baby, Luke, or whatever it is. Oh gosh, that's terrible. But they'd turn her into the biggest villain. Jiraiya says it's no accident that the new Star Wars always takes place on desert planets. Their imagination is barren.
True.
Oh no. Steve, you're trying. I swear, I just got my mostly monetized. This man's gonna kill me. He's gonna kill it. I'm coming for you if that happens. But yeah, they anything that is new Star Wars, they don't know how to write these characters. So yeah, they turned him into a buffoon. Star Wars is a fantasy set in space. Yes, correct. Yes.
Well, and they try and get too complicated with it, because if you notice, the original Star Wars, those stories were not complicated. They were just executed so well. They really honed in on what the important thing that you needed to know from the story was, and the characters.
Yeah. Well, think about it.
It was brilliantly done. And they try and make it too dang complicated now. Complicated stories. And you got Reva, and it's like, stop already. Just stop with the complication.
Yeah. Well, think about it. I mean, in a way, a lot of what Luke is the thing that's like George against the dragon. He had to go slay the dragon, but it was the Death Star. It just all those things from fairy tales. I was about ready to do some fairy tales videos, and then the friggin' wondering.com, the good one, started a series. I'm like, damn it, now I've got to wait a year. But there's the fairy tales. All story. There's a reason those stories are big. Or Beowulf, Slaughter the Monster.
Yes.
Yes, the guy was actually referring to this. I was talking about Kip Duron. One dumb thing in the EU is Kip Duron kept getting slapped on the wrist after he destroyed planets. Yes, the fact is that was one of the biggest flaws of the EU, was that he should have been quote unquote forgiven, but yeah, life in prison or even the death penalty for what he did. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, so I just don't even pay any attention to Star Wars. I mean, for several reasons. It's just a very it's a not civilized age
Right.
around everything surrounding it. But if we wanted to talk about A Bright Light, are you a fan of Conan the Barbarian?
Yes and no. I
Mhm.
got really soured off of the remake with Jason Momoa as Conan. I felt it could have been so much better than it was.
Mm,
And I haven't really now. My first experience with Conan was flipping through my older brother's Conan comics.
mm.
That to me was Conan. I wasn't even crazy as Arnold Schwarzenegger's Conan. He did a fine job, but after really honing in on those comics and that artwork, I'm like, but he doesn't look like Conan to me, because I had an image in my head, if Conan came to flesh, what he would look like. And unfortunately, I didn't think it was Arnold, but I'm probably alone in that.
Well, no, you're absolutely right.
But
Arnold does not physically at all look like him, and I've been told the plot is not the same. Now, you probably were looking at the Savage Sword of Conan, and those are amazing comics.
yes,
Mhm,
yes, that's exactly it. And he had that long dark hair, those dark bags, and the hair looked blue black. It was always blue black on the covers. It was never brown. It
mhm.
was blue black, and he always had this kind of almost like a Wolverine, that kind of gruff, a little sinister air about him, where you
Yeah,
didn't know if he was friend or foe because of everything that he'd experienced. And he did make connections and have relationships with people, but he always ended up alone. That was almost like his lot in life. So that
precisely.
to me is Conan. That's Conan.
Yay! And
The tragic hero is Conan.
no, and you're absolutely right. And of course, the original story is by Robert E. Howard, and they have actually started up a new series. Titan Comics has, which is completely, at least so far, fingers crossed, it is amazing so far. It is exactly like those
Oh,
older
nice.
ones. It's really
Nice.
good. So Conan they're going in the right direction with Conan, and they're going to revive the Savage Sword of Conan next year.
Oh, nice. Good. I wouldn't mind having some of those just for nostalgia's sake,
Yeah.
because
Well.
I just thought the artwork was so, and I was really too young to be reading them. I think I
Mhm.
was 5 or 6. And
Yeah.
I would, and then when I got to turn about 7, I understood I didn't understand the themes, but I could read the words. For the most part, there was still some I didn't know, but the artwork just fascinated me. The characters fascinated me.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, he does live his life as he wishes, but
yes,
we're chicks. We always see the hurting heart behind it all, right?
yeah. I mean, there was one comic. I'll remember this. I'll never forget this. He was actually in love with a woman. He was in love with her. I don't remember her name, nothing about her. And the bad guy killed her. And there's
Mm,
this panel where he's holding her, and this look on his face is just despair, and she's bleeding. You see the blood coming out from her side where she was stabbed, and there's skulls surrounding them. That was very powerful to me.
mhm.
And then of course he goes and he takes care of the guy, and he buries and mourns her and moves on. But he did make relationships with people, not very often, but when he did, it affected him, which is probably why he didn't make them more often. They
Yeah.
were tough, but
Well, and I'll tell you the original ones, because Robert E. Howard was writing those, like, in the early 1930s, and I was like, "Dang, dude, I didn't know they got that, hot and intense back then
yeah,
in
yeah,
those Pulp Fiction," 'cause, it wasn't something I had been familiar with. Yes, Deke, yes, you're talking about the myths and all that. Mhm.
I
Classic
agree
line.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Conan, says Shellback to TJC, "To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentations
Oh,
of their
they're women.
women." And right.
Yes, yes.
Hello, ancient one. Thank you for being here.
Hi.
Yeah, Liffy said he only loved two women, Belit and the woman he took as queen later.
Well, I don't know
Okay.
who she was, but he was very upset that she died. He was very fond of her. Let's put it that way.
Mhm.
I don't remember anything about it but that panel.
Yeah,
And it really impressed me. That was sorrow. That was a panel of sorrow.
yeah,
And it humanized him for me.
yeah.
So
I also like all the one-liners.
I know, right? Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There was one insult I was reading. It was one of Robert Jordan's Conan books, and someone called Conan son of a thousand mothers. Or no, sorry, not mothers. Oh, I just ruined it. I ruined it. Son of a thousand fathers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could definitely see him as that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, wait, mothers. That's a no, son of a thousand fathers. I ruined
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I just laughed so hard. I'm like, that's a good one. That is a good insult. Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious sakes alive. Oof. Well, usually towards the end of our stream, when I say towards the end, don't leave anyone. Sometimes when people say that, they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's over." No, it's not over. We're gonna move into the second portion. I need to say it. The second portion of our stream. Okay, but before we do this, I'm gonna read Steve's comment because he has a comment about Conan. The first Conan movie is actually very, very far from the source material. The Momoa one is actually way closer to the source material, but the first one is a way better movie.
I didn't like Momoa's portrayal of him. He seemed a little too full of himself and ha ha ha, here I am. And at the end of the movie when he drops the chick off, I really have expected her to turn around and go, "So see you tomorrow. Call me." and he's like, ha ha ha, and he swaggers off. I just didn't care for that. I didn't care for that. But
the origin story was more accurate, but the screenplay sucked. I'll give you that. Okay, so
it's been a long time since I've seen
it. Yeah. Is there anything before we move to rule 7 that you haven't said already? Something you want to bring up? Something you want the audience to know?
No, just keep watching what you love. That's what I've been doing. I've been going back to shows that I absolutely adore. Some are old, some are new. Wednesday, I love the Netflix Wednesday, Tim Burton's Wednesday. That is a great example of a show that incorporates signs of the times, but also has great writing, great character development. She does not end the way she starts. She's kind of insufferable when she starts, and she throws out a couple of woke comments, but the way the people respond to her, it's like whatever. And then at the end of the series, at the end of the season, because there's supposed to be a season 2, she is not the same character. I love that. I love when the character ends for the better. But other than that, watch what you love. We can only do so much about them pooching the IPs. Stay strong, be vocal, realize everyone has their own opinions, and watch what you love, embrace what you love.
Darn right. And I always trigger people. I'm like, even if you want to watch Disney Stars, even if you want to buy Wizards of the Coast woke Magic the Gathering cards, because at the end of the day, no one likes to be judged, and that we all need to be charitable to each other as far as that goes there too. And we should be able to debate, but again, to be kind, and no one likes an asshole. That's what I always say. It's like I've already got a judge, and I'm not looking forward to it because Judgment Day. Yeah, So I just wanted to make that clear. Obviously, I have feelings about it, but and it's just something to keep in mind. Watch what you love. Steve's like, The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. Renegade.
Great show.
Having a blast. Yep. Conan is so strong that they can't subvert him. Too good show, Steve. Yes. And I have been having a lot of fun reading I'm reading the Wheel of Time for the first time, as well as the Raymond Feist books for the first time. Dragonlance, Forgotten Realms. There's so much good stuff that is there for everyone. Something for and Babylon 5. I didn't watch it when it first came out. I watched it when it came out on HBO Max, or now it's called Max. So I only watched like 2 years ago. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Fantastic. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, the way Rule 7 works, there are 20 questions that Steve, my mother, and my father helped me make. Open-ended questions. They can be just as hard or just as naughty or non-naughty. See, I designed them, so if I got people on that aren't into that, but you could be as weird and naughty as you want. It's
fire away. We'll see.
Okay, before we do that, yes, Steve judges me all the time. It is fine. I judge you all the time, and I judge him right back. Judge him right back. Okay, see, that's okay. Small little soapbox. talk to people. Try it.
Yes.
Shellback's judging you.
Oh, thank
Okay.
you, Shellback.
Yeah, thank you for judging. Yeah, all these good stuff. All right. It Lindsay Classic, did you know he's from Norway, outside of Trondheim? He was adopted. What
Lorenzo Lamas.
Conan or someone else? I don't know. Yeah.
Lorenzo Lamas. Yeah, he's gosh, he's been in a ton of stuff.
Yeah. All right, here we go. First question.
All right.
With my D20. It is Arwyn. Tell me something on your bucket list.
Oh, on my bucket list. Okay. I want to see the Aurora Borealis in person one day.
Yes.
It's one of them. I want to swim with a dolphin and like legit swim with a dolphin. I want to do that. I can't even think. I've got to look it up. But those are two of mine that have been on my bucket list forever off the top of my head.
Okay. Speaking of judgment, and he's told me this before, the D in Trondheim, there I said it right, is silent, Teresa. Speaking of judgment, stupid grammar, please. Yeah, and I forgot to say that, please, everyone, please participate as well. Stieg is saying he sees the Northern Lights every year. Yeah,
I know, Stieg, they're boring for you, but I've never seen them in person, and I want to do that at least once.
Yeah, shut up, Stieg. Swim with the dolphins lame. Wow, speaking of judgment, we just got done saying no judgment. I gotta take everyone out. Banned.
I'll be judging all over the place.
Dolphins are streamlined murder machines. Don't be fool.
Swim with a shark. No, thank you.
Oh, no. Hell no.
I'm fascinated by them, but I will take my sharks with me with a screen in between us. I will watch them on TV, and that's about it.
Darn right. My dad once said about swimming with sharks, he says, I've never been that drunk.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. Fast. Oh, Steek's like, pop over during winter then. Hey, be careful, Steek. People might take you up on it. Gosh, we got too many men.
Wow, they're not lame. They're cool. I like them.
Yeah. I was about to male bash, and this is appropriate male bashing. We have too many males in here. We need some girls in here that like fluffy bunny rabbits and dolphins.
I think those are dolphins are concerned.
Amazing things to have on your bucket list. And the Northern Lights are on mine. I've tried to see them twice. But Iceland betrayed me, because that's the problem. The problem is it has to be clear, but you see them in the winter when often it's cloudy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I'm gonna move in. I'm gonna move a hot tub in Steek's front yard and just live there until I see him.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. All right, roll 2. What is the most annoying habit other people have?
My God. Oh, wow. That is definitely a loaded question. Most annoying that I think other people have. I think when, and I've done this myself, so I'm pointing the fingers back at me. But okay. I think when someone has a problem and does not go to you about it, we'll yak behind your back. We'll yak in back rooms. We'll gossip. Instead of just, balling up and going to a person and saying, hey, I have this issue. Can we work it out? I lost a friendship, a close friendship, because somebody came to me and they had a problem with one of my friends. And, that was their friend too. That's what was so weird. Mm-hmm. And they had all these bad things to say. And I was like, well, look, I can do nothing for you. You need to take it to them. Go talk to them. Man up and go talk to them. They're your friend. It should be easy. And they chose not to do that and thought I was making things worse because I was trying to get them to actually talk to someone, and it just exploded, and they've not talked to me since.
Oh, yeah.
So that's up there. That's up there.
Yeah. Well, another one is when suddenly someone quits talking to you or blocks you because they heard one side of the story and they didn't even come to me to ask, was it even true?
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's like, why don't you ask me or hear my side of the story before you just cut off a friendship? It's like, and especially sometimes things aren't true. Believe it or not, people lie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's probably it. Not being transparent, not being honest, not being, able to talk to another human being like another human being. Drives me nuts.
Darn right. Yep. Dry says it's called drumming up support before acting. They know they are in the wrong, but think consensus of their side makes it right. Yeah, that's the other thing.
Mm.
And
Yep.
that's shady.
Yep. I agree.
Luffy is God. People keep talking behind my back. If someone has a problem, it's not me, it's them, and I don't waste time on bullshit. Yeah.
There you
I mean,
go.
yeah, you got to move on. If someone can't be bothered to talk to you for 5 minutes, then, is it really worth it?
Yeah.
Kenobi says people you side with the bigger sum cut blindly. Well, when that happens, that sometimes is that's a whole other story too, because
Mhm.
everyone wants to get their sub count up. That's a part of the game.
Mhm.
Oh yes, as Ancient One's been trying to get us all into a tea party ever since me and Lady Toriel did a stream where we were bashing Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Yes. Yes. Don't get me started on that fool of a woman.
Awesome! You're on my side.
Fool of a prince. Yes. Oh, I am so on your side.
Okay, yeah, and I joked that we were having a tea party talking about it, and yeah, so now it's become reality. Well, then you're definitely invited next time.
Nice.
Yeah, I hate them so much. Okay,
Yeah.
hate's a strong word, but I don't know them. They're not being hurt and all that. They are the biggest twats ever conceived since the dawn of time. Fight me. I mean, they're just awful human beings.
Yeah, I thought the South Park pegged them perfectly, where they go on that big "We Want Privacy" tour.
Yeah,
And
the worldwide privacy tour.
The worldwide "We Want Privacy, We Want Privacy"
Stop
tour.
looking at us. Stop. And they've got like bull horns in the middle of the night, and everyone's like, "What are you doing?" It's like, see, people hate us. It's like, yeah,
Leave us alone. You're looking at us. Oh my God. I'm like, yeah, that's them. They pegged them. Yes.
yeah. Well, they pegged him. Well, someone is getting pegged.
Yes. Exactly.
Oh dear. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I mean, they performed a miracle because they actually got me on King Charles's side, which I mean, that's an act of God.
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, I'm on his side too. I'm like, no.
Okay, before we move on to the next one, there were some comments more about the Northern Lights. Teresa told me off. Yes, I did when I slept through the Northern Lights. And that's not just it. He's only telling half the story. He also was like, oh, yeah, there were some really annoying lights and they kept me up. It's like, oh, look what happened last night. And I didn't see them. And I'm like, shut up. It's like, oh, they were there again. Oh, well. And Liffy's God says dolphins are the bastards of the sea.
Y'all are so mean.
I know, they're so mean to the dolphins. Look at me. I'm a dolphin, freaking prima donnas. Hey, speaking of Meghan Markle, look at me.
Dolphins are going to say so long and thanks for all the fish, y'all. Y'all talking so bad about that. They're going to take off into space. That I'll never realize that on my bucket list.
Okay. No, Ancient One. We could invite Steeg, but I don't think he would want to be there for this tea party. Even though he is a cute fuzzy squirrel in real life. Don't get me started. Oh, yeah, there are more dolphin bashing going. Look what you started. They harass other fish, get high on blowfish poison, and if you want to be one of the gang, you need to play.
Dolphins are evil. My gosh.
Oh my gosh. This is horrible.
So vicious.
Dolphins are the Q and the T.
Oh God. Don't listen, dolphins. I love you.
Yeah, I was gonna say you are little dolphins.
I'm such
God.
a girl, though. I love them. They've been my spirit for 100 years. I love dolphins.
Yeah. I said no judgment, but now I'm saying it. Y'all going to hell.
I'm so
dolphin
being
hate.
judged. Dolphin hate is real.
Straight to the ninth circle. All right. Rule number 3. Oh no, a Dawson possessed girl.
Shut up, Stig.
Yeah, I never trusted Taylor. All right. Rule number 3. If you could have dinner with one famous person, who would it be? Besides Flipper.
That's Flipper. I'll take him to Long John Silver. One person, what would it be?
Famous person.
Famous person. Okay, famous person. Oh, golly. Let me think. Famous person. I'm gonna leave the stream and I'm gonna be like, duh, all these wonderful famous people that I want to meet, and I just can't think of one.
It could be living or dead.
Okay, living or dead. Let's see. I would probably have you know what? I'm gonna go with Peter Jackson. I'm gonna go with Peter Jackson because especially with the just abomination that is Rings of Power, I would really like to pick his brain. I mean, I know he is obviously a Tolkien fan. I get that. He really is. But I would like to kind of pick his brain and how one they were able to weave together such a cohesive story through the 3 films, and without, because they were filming them consecutively, how he didn't get lost or distracted. And 2, how important was it and I know I've heard him talk about it in the appendices, but I want to dive deeper. I want to understand his appreciation for Tolkien, his love for Tolkien, what sparked him to do this in the first place. Was it a glorified fan project for him, or was it something more? Was it more, well, I really want to introduce this story to the masses on a scale that hasn't been done before outside of book form. And I'd love to know his opinion of Wings of Power. Hey, Joker's voice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd like to pick his brain and what he would do if he was in charge of Rings of Power. How would he do it? What would the Jackson version be?
Interesting.
So, but there are others, but he's just one off the top of my mind.
Yeah. I think if I were to say something about if I had dinner with Peter Jackson, I would probably scold him for an hour and 5 minutes for not having the Houses of Healing scenes in the theatrical version.
Yeah, that I will say that should have been a lot more. Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, because
I agree with that.
They just left it hanging, and it was a beautiful scene and all that kind of good stuff, and we needed to have that. So fuck you, Peter Jackson. Pardon my.
I agree, and I wanted to see more interaction between Arwyn and Faramir because it's so beautiful in the book. It's just like you see these 2 kind of lost souls at this point connecting, genuinely connecting. And then the whole scene where it talks about, her golden hair and his dark hair blew in the wind and mingled. I mean, it's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous.
Oh, don't even. You see, that's what I was talking about. I was like, is there anything else that happened in the Houses of Healing? Because I love that. Exactly. The Steward and the King. That is the best chapter ever. They are the most perfect couple. And everything you said, their hair is mingling, and then they hold hands, and he kisses her on the forehead.
Is beautiful, and they are cemented at that point. They are.
Right.
You don't get that. It's like, oh, she gets over Aragorn awfully quickly. Well, there's a reason why. It was infatuation with Aragorn. It was recognition and love and respect with Faramir. Because let's face it, Aragorn at Arwen.
Exactly.
So let's see that. Let's see this quote unquote secondary couple come into their own.
Yeah.
But yeah,
well,
I agree
and
with
also
that.
what it meant for Faramir, because he had been, he also needed to be reborn too in many ways, because of
chastised by his dad, in the shadow of his beloved older brother. His beloved older brother is dead. Faramir almost died. I mean, it's like, come on, let's see this man's joy in finding someone who's as broken at that point as he is.
And that not only did they heal in body, they healed each other's spirit.
Yes! I wanted that so bad.
Okay. Well, thank you for stopping by. Oh, why did you do that? Okay. Yeah. Get yourself some bleach. Okay.
I watched the one episode. I watched episode 1 and then part of episode 2. And after I realized only men can die when being run through by a lightsaber. I said, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Apparently, snarky women can survive. Angsty young women can survive a stab to the gut, but old boy captains get one right through the right side of their chest and they die instantly. I'm like, I'm gone. I'm gone. But angsty girl survives and looks like she's had a paper cut. I'm gone.
Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And the links that people have gone to try to justify it. It's
ridiculous.
Like, don't even.
Yeah, it's
don't
ridiculous. But the blade, and I'm like, no, the blade didn't, because if you look at it, it didn't hit any major organs when it went through the guy's right side of his chest. It hit his heart, it hit a lung, nothing. Yes, it would have messed him up. Yes, he could have died. But the fact he's died instantly, and then old angsty girl gets it right through the gut, where all of her organs are right there, all the way through, and she's like the beginning of the next episode recovering, and other than looking a little pained, like she has indigestion, she's fine. Don't even try and sell that crap to me. Sorry.
Yeah. What you said, it's just absurd.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Friggin' lights. They were friggin' lights. Darn right they did. Yeah. Second breakfast. Well, hey, I endorse second breakfast. That's Filoni for you. Yeah, Filoni's ridiculous. Him and his little blow up doll Ahsoka. They can just sit and Genie Mac. All right. Number 4. Oh. If you could travel back in time, when would you go to and why?
Okay, but I would have some stipulations. Okay. I wouldn't mind going back to the Renaissance period.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I wouldn't mind going back to Tudor England period. However, I would have to have hot water, running water. I'd have to have access to deodorant and a razor. Mm-hmm. I'd want to take my mascara and my lipstick, and I'd have to be from a wealthy family, because I wouldn't want to be a poor person. But other than that, I'd love to see.
I'd bring antibiotics with me too.
Yes, I'd have to have medicine. Oh God, Advil. I need my Advil when I get my headaches. Gotta have Advil. Yes, modern medicine. If I could take that back with me, I'd love to go visit. Maybe hang out in the court of King Henry VIII for a while. Meet all the queens. I don't know how long I'd be there, but I wouldn't mind visiting that time in history, because I love it. I love it.
That would be fun. That would be fun. Yeah, with all the stipulations.
All the stipulations. Absolutely.
Indoor plumbing.
Yes, a must. A must. I like my baths.
All right. Roll number 5. What is... Oh, wait. You already did that one. Okay. Well, I always say when that happens, when that number happens more than once, buy a lottery ticket. What's your favorite excuse when you're late?
My favorite excuse?
Mm-hmm.
When I'm late anywhere, or like late?
You're just late. Late. It can be late to whatever you choose.
Well, it's usually the truth. My internet's dumped me. But it's usually true, because I've got really spotty internet at times. Like anytime it starts storming, or a bird flies by a window, or mail's put in my mailbox, it could be anything at any point. My internet will go a little spotty. So, yeah, it's accurate.
All right, well, that is a good one. Yeah. Yeah, it's an excuse though if it's true.
I guess not, but that's pretty much I try and be early for things. I try and at least be 5 minutes early, for whether it's online or whether it's in around town or whatever. I don't like being late for things. I really don't.
Yeah, I agree. And thank you, Steeg. Yeah, Treese has shit internet too. Yeah, he's always complaining. You're breaking up. It's like, yeah. And when I'm with my parents, then we don't have that problem. Okay, I'd go back. Shellback says, I would go back to the American Revolution period at the time of the Musketeer. The 3 Musketeers.
Be fascinating. That'd be a neat time. It would.
Sam McCabe has maybe... I am never late, nor am I early. I arrive precisely when I mean to.
He's on Gandalf time. That's what it is.
Oh, I like that. Let's make it so.
Yeah, Gandalf time.
Okay. What fictional place would you like most to go to and why?
Oh, I've got 2
Okay.
right off the top of my 3. I've got 3. I'd love to go to Hogwarts. I want to be a student in Hogwarts. I'd
Uh-huh.
love to go to Rivendell, and I'd love
Mm.
to go to the Shire.
Oh.
Yeah, those 3 places I would love to go. Or if we're talking kind of outside of those realms, I would love to go visit some of the Dragon Bowls in the in Anne McCaffrey's Dragons of Pern series. I'd love to go to a dragon hatching.
Oh, I haven't read those
Mm.
books, but a dragging hatching sounds really cool.
Yeah, it does. I'd love that.
Dry would go to Zanks.
Oh,
I
Xanth would be cool too. Xanth, the
okay.
world where everyone's born with some sort of magic, unless you're Bink, and then you're not born with any magic. You got to figure it out. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Lothlorien would be good,
Hogwarts. Yeah.
but they live up in the trees and they have those flats, and that might freak me out a little bit. I get kind of weirded out about heights.
Oh, okay. Well, but if you had elf magic, maybe you wouldn't.
Yeah, just fly me up, just float me up, and I'll be fine.
Yeah, though I don't know. Well, after elf, that doesn't work in the Lord of the Rings realm. You'd have to have the magic from another IP.
Mhm.
Skeek says Arwyn. Oh my gosh, Arwyn would get thrown out of Hogwarts in disgrace because of dolphins.
It is what it is.
Oh,
Poor
shut.
dolphins.
Poor dolphin. Oh, you guys are horrible people. I'd go to Gondor and wear Faramir not to hook up with that gold digger.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Y'all are so cruel tonight.
Oh.
Judgy.
Shellback says Mos Eisley. Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
As
There
long
you
as I
go.
had a good blaster by my side. Eureka.
Oh, Eureka would be awesome. I would love to go to Eureka. I'd have a house there. I'd probably never leave. I love
Yeah.
Eureka. Love Eureka.
Yeah. Steve was saying for the oh, little delayed here for the real time, I'd go back to the early 1900s and what I would bring with me all the kinds of adventures other people made and patent them. Oh, that's a good one.
There you go. Oh, you
Yeah.
want to know what I would patent? All right, talk about getting a little spicy.
Uh-huh.
How can I put this politely? Sanitary napkins.
Yes.
That's
You know,
what
I
I
was
would
thinking
fucking patent.
forever you'd be so rich because
Dang straight.
yeah. That was in the back of my head about the Renaissance thing, but I didn't want to scare away all the men in the chat.
Yeah, that's what I would. And yes, I use that term because I don't know if I guess you could say pads. I don't know.
Well, yeah,
I was trying to be frou-frou about it, but oh
well. Corey says I would go to old Rome and let them know lead is bad for bite.
Yep. Oh no.
Oh, Stieg is awful. I'd go to the Shire. This is for the fiction. I'd go to the Shire and beat the hell out of the hobbits. Well, maybe they'd beat the hell out of you.
Yep.
Yeah, Ancient One says Stieg would go pick up where Saruman left off and conquer the Shire. The scouring of the Shire. Oh, that's you traitor. Oh yeah, everyone saying Saruman jokes. Why would your napkins have, or would your napkins have? Absolutely.
Yes, they would. Yeah, best inventions at sliced bread are pads with wings. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's go before we lose all the chat.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Hey, we're girls. It's girl time.
Truth is truth. I
mean. Okay. What's the most annoying question you've ever been asked?
Most annoying question?
Mm-hmm.
What are your pronouns? Sorry. It's the truth because I'm sorry. If you can't tell I'm a girl with all my girliness, then all hope is lost.
Yeah.
Yes,
with the curves and I'm talking about me too. Yeah. Well, how's that for being delicate? For
yeah,
it is definite.
I'm like, come on a woman now. And it shows you how just unwoken PC I am because instead of just, being, I could have just been polite and answered and moved on, but I was like, well, what do you think? They're like, well, today it's polite to ask. And I'm like, well, okay, but what do you think? And, well, I mean, you can't always tell. There was always an answer. You can't always tell by the way people look. I'm like, we're not talking about people. We're talking about me. Look at
Exactly.
me. Listen to me. I've never been on hormones. I was born this way. What the hell do you think? My pronouns. I mean, I got indignant.
Yeah,
I guess I was
obviously
just
the
in a
hormones
mood
we
that
have
day.
are the natural ones.
Yeah, I got indignant.
The
And then I'm like, oh, my Lord,
ones
have mercy.
that make you cry at
Yeah.
commercials.
Yeah.
Hallmark
Shellback, I'm a girl.
What? You're a girl? Yeah, you just triggered him. Seek says, for me, it was do Norwegians use Dutch money?
Dutch money.
And I just said yes when we travel to Holland.
Brilliant. Oh, that reminds me. That reminds me of that movie. I love it so much. Snow Dogs with Cuba Gooding Jr. and Nichelle Nichols in it, and she's his mother.
Mhm.
And he goes to Alaska to be a dentist in Alaska. Well, she goes over there to visit him, and she's like, she tells the driver, "I'm sorry, driver, all I have is American money." And she gives him American. He's Alaska. He's not in Russia. But I love that movie so much. It makes me laugh.
Oh gosh. Oh no. Poor Alaska. Sam McCabe said, yeah, Sam's from Australia, for those that don't know. Do you guys ride kangaroos to school?
Yeah, we put him in the locker right next to our koalas, is what you need to tell people.
Yeah. Oh gosh. So now this is a wild chat. Now we've got cannibal hobbits. That would explain the BOOBSs.
Go figure, y'all. They're
I was trying to
homegrown.
say curves. I was trying to be
Yes.
polite. Yeah.
The girls are homegrown.
Oh, the girls. Yeah, that's it. Oh no.
It is what it is, y'all. We live in a weird time.
Darn
We
right.
really do.
Yeah, we're probably not even allowed to call them the girls anymore.
You know what? I still call them mine the girls. I'm still using the terminology for what, no birthing person, no gestational parent. I mean, come on, y'all.
Women who have uteruses.
It's
Or
like
people. No, it's people who have
people who
uteruses.
have uterus, yes, men periods, all that. I no, sorry.
Birthing persons.
Hey, I refuse to start doing that. When you start going against biology, I'm like, look, live life the way you want to live. I will support you. That is fine. You're an adult. You make your own adult decisions. You're capable of making those decisions. I have no problem with that. I support that. However, let's not go to La La Land on some of this stuff. Let's keep it grounded and keep it real.
Yeah, keep them with with yourself,
Yes.
Yeah. And that's the way it used to be. It used to be live and let live.
Right.
Sam says, I've seen kangaroos and emus on the way to school. Dingoes too. Oh, of course.
Too.
Every time I think of a dingo, I think dingo's got my baby.
Oh, I know.
It's terrible.
My baby. I know. And dingoes are cute too. They're
Mhm.
cute. They're beautiful animals.
Yeah. Yeah, we endorse
But they're
dingoes
wild.
when they're not stealing babies. Yeah, they're awesome. When they don't got the baby.
Yes, minus the baby.
Yeah. And last but certainly not least, gee whiz, this is oh, that's another one we've already done. Definitely to get the lottery. What is the title of the current chapter in your life?
Oh no. Let's see. The title of the current chapter in my life. Let's geez.
Well, I'll tell you mine while you're thinking. Mine is FML. So
okay.
I think I've heard other ones have been get off my lawn.
I like that one. Get off my lawn. Mine would probably be is this a parody or is this real? I mean, that would probably literally be the title right now, because sometimes I feel like I'm living a parody of myself.
Oh,
Things are just so bizarre and so freaky weird right now. I mean, not necessarily bad weird. There's some things in my life that are incredible.
Mhm.
And I am very lucky to have that in my life. But just in general, Yeah. Is it, is it Maybelline or is it a parody? I don't know. The vapors. I like that, Shellback. Yes, the vapors.
The vapors.
I do declare the vapors. That is definitely the title right now of the chapter in my life.
Yeah, I'm all in favor of vapors. I think that would make us all be happier right now. Different kind of vapor. Okay, yeah, I know. We are going to do that. And we're going to bash all the Harkles all day and all day long.
Uh-huh.
Nick McCabe, employment is overrated.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chapter and Sam says in which Sam is affected by Inui, bored by society, and desperately in need of interesting change. Desperate in need, yeah. And
mine is I have too much of everything. I have, too many things. I have too many fires. What is it? Too many fires.
many irons and too many fires.
That's it. Too many irons and too many fires. I have to I have to downscale a lot of stuff in my life to make it a little less chaotic.
Speaking of downscaling your life, give Sing Go for Arwyn's cat.
Yeah. So it is what it is.
Oh, this is good. Steeks, they're there and on my back again.
Yep.
Oh no. Miss Martin 420.
420.
Oh, I don't get that. Wait, is that something rude?
Is that the pot reference, Shellback 420?
Oh, okay. See, that shows how innocent I am. Oh no, now people are laughing at me. Great. Thank you, Shellback.
I see you, Shellback.
Oh no.
Y'all are killing me tonight.
Oh boy. And that is the end of our Roll 7. That was an epic one. That one
Good.
That was one for the ages. All you dolphin haters, by the way,
no!
I'm judging you.
Wow, I've never seen so much dolphin hate in one place. Yeah. It just makes me love them all the more, y'all, because apparently they need love. They're hated, so they need my love.
There you go. We're going to give the dolphins the love that they've been deprived of by you horrible people who don't love them.
That's right.
Okay, well, Arwyn, where can we find you?
You can find me on Tuesdays and Thursdays on my channel at 6:00 Eastern. On Tuesdays, I've got Sugar and Spice with Darth Arlena, and at 6. And then on Thursdays, we've got Arwyn Activated, which we get a little more socio. Sugar Spice, we just sit and talk. We just shoot the breeze, have a good time. We get a little more structured on Arwyn Activated. Then Friday mornings, you can find me on Loki's Mornings of Mischief with Loki and Dave Bob. Let's see, Saturdays, if Fat Steven Seagal has a community stream, I'm usually playing there. And then back on VacTube at 6 Eastern on Saturdays. So yes, right. That's my scheduled. That's my schedule right now. And then I crop up here. Sometimes I crop up on Culture. Sometimes I'll crop up on Valiance or Pros, or just, like tonight I'm here with you. So just kind of wherever a path leads me, I'm happy to go.
Yay.
So, yeah.
All right. And I if one of my mods could put her link there in the chat. Gosh darn it, you guys there's a reason the Japanese hunt them. Oh no.
Mean.
And Shellback's making fun of me for saying 420. I hear they taste like sea chicken. This team is great. Thank you. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
And stay tuned here to Miss Smart Muses, where I talk about what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Tomorrow, I am planning to resume the We the People Wednesday, where we're going through the Constitution. I also have my Wheel of Time reviews. Life happened, so it put me behind on some of my videos, but they are coming. So please hit the like button, the share, and the bell, and maybe YouTube will honor it and inform you when it happens. As far as live streams, and then of course my regular Catholic explaining and more pub crawl. So we got some things that we're lining up for September and October. So please stay tuned. Please stay tuned and stay sober. Hypothetically, though, we are not sober at all because we're after having 6 drinks. But I don't know about you. The only thing I've drunk tonight in real life is Dr. Pepper. But go
I had
figure.
Diet Pepsi because they were out of Diet Coke.
Oh my, that's a tragedy.
So I know I'm struggling, but I needed something. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, no, it's understandable. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and you got to drink Pepsi. Thank you, Steeg. Thank you, Steeg. Yeah, because yeah, seriously, I finally did mod stuff. Yes, he actually did a mod job. It's a miracle. YouTube letting me know would be a shock. Yeah, so I still have some of my cooking things, my sweet rolls, and all that. Again, it's just been life and getting through the editing and all of that, but I'm really enjoying Wheel of Time, and I'm really excited about the next Conan comic is due tomorrow, so look for a review on that. Diets. Nice. Oh, Shellback, you guys are so barfing. Well, at least actually each kind has its own downfalls.
Yes.
Yeah, because we're sucking down all the chemicals, and then the other ones have all the sugar. So
right. Pick your poison, pretty much.
Darn right. And, all right. Well, thank you everyone that's been here. It's been so much fun. And subscribe to everybody because we all love each other here at Miss Martin Muses, even when we're judging each other. Apparently, we are a very judgmental group of people. So have a great day. Have a great day, everyone. And be certain to watch what you love, live what you love, and love dolphins especially.